What's up, YouTube? My name is Nathan Rellis. I am the creator of the Natrixx, and this is going to be my video blog. I make electronic music. That was the start of it. You can go to facebook.com/enterthenatrixx. That's with 2 X's. And that's where you can get the links to all the music. Now, I told some people that I was going to be doing this video blog, and hopefully they weren't expecting anything too high-tech. If they were, too bad. You're not going to get that. It's just me and my iPad doing the best that I goddamn can. And that's how this is going to go. So, a little bit about me. I am bilingual. I speak a lot of Spanish, so get ready to hear some of that. I have Asperger's syndrome. I have generalized anxiety. And I have a bachelor's of music degree in jazz studies from The Ohio State University. When I was in college, I studied jazz guitar with Tim Comiskey. He is one of the best teachers I've ever seen. He is one of the best performers I have ever seen. And there are both lessons and performance videos on YouTube. I strongly recommend checking those out. That is Tim Comiskey, Cummiskey. That's what you want to type into the search engine. Tim really straightened out a lot of issues that I had as far as my technique, my approach, my concept when it comes to music, and I'm still using the lessons that he taught me every single day. And I can't thank him enough for that. So, here's the reason I am doing this video blog. Tim Comiskey has often told me that I should write a book. However, there's a couple problems with that. Number one, books do not sell anymore. People don't read as much, as is evidenced by how dumbed down America has become. And even if they do, they're reading on tablets and Kindles and Nooks and whatever the fuck else they have. Another reason not to write a book is because I don't know where to start or where to stop. My book would probably be about 1,000 pages, and that probably wouldn't be the end of it. So, with all that in mind, Tim, I'm sorry to break your heart, but this is as close as I'm going to get. I encourage likes on the videos that I'm going to make, I encourage subscriptions, and I encourage comments. That's all cool. However, I am not doing this to try to win a popularity contest. I just want to make that clear from the beginning. See, I have a dog. Her name is Layla, and if you're watching this, she probably appreciates me a lot more than you do. And she's number one, and she's what matters most. I have asked for a hand on many, many, many different things since I left college. And really, at the end of the day, what I got was a set of paws. So, if you were me, well, which one would you trust more? So what is this video blog going to be about? Well, the main thing that it's going to be about is music. Because music is a whole shitload of different things. And there's a lot of issues with music. And we need to talk about them. It's the art, the creative process. We need to talk about the business. We need to talk about sound. We need to talk about technique, especially as it relates to the guitar. And we need to talk about the legacy that musicians leave. I love to cook, so we're probably going to talk about some cooking. I will show you how not to overcook your eggs, how not to overcook your steak, shit like that. We are going to talk about dogs in a future episode. You will meet Layla. You will see some of the things that she does, and you will see just how sweet a girl she really is. We're going to talk about politics. Politics is very important right now. This is an election year. And we have two very shitty options for president. I will not be voting for either one of them because they both support the military-industrial complex, and they both want to bomb the shit out of the rest of the world, and they're both very racist people. I'm working from an outline because I want to organize my thoughts and not be completely random and fly off the handle and all that shit. I want to stay organized. A little bit professional. Anyway, speaking of racism, we're going to talk about racism. Because it's real, and it's still going on, and it's very, very sad. It is especially going on in our institutions. And so we need to talk about institutional racism. We need to talk about Black Lives Matter. We need to talk about hip-hop and where we as a society completely fucked up with that. We're going to talk about the mass media and how completely full of shit they are. And we're going to talk about whatever else crosses my fucking mind when I write these outlines. So, for now, let's stick with music. We need to start having some very serious talks about music. And we need to talk about the kind of music that we are leaving for future generations. And when I say we, I mean we as a society. The collective we, not any individual musicians. Our grandparents, well, my grandma, for one, was a bobby soxer. She's into the crooners. Dean Martin, Frank Sinatra, old big band jazz, that sort of thing. That's really good stuff. You know, our grandparents gave us jazz, they gave us blues, they gave us the Carter Family and Jimmy Rogers, country music, they gave us the gospel hymns. All great stuff. Worth checking out. It's the roots of the roots of the roots. My parents' generation gave us rock and roll, R&B, Motown, Atlantic, Stax, the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, the British Invasion, Neil Young, AC/DC, all that shit. My generation, well, my cousins are 10, 15 years older than me. They're 80s kids. So they got Prince, they got Michael Jackson, they got the Police. Metallica first came out in the 80s. Megadeth first came out in the 80s. NWA came out in 1989 when I was 7. And then we got the 90s, we got grunge, we got Tool, we got industrial music, 9 Inch Nails. There's also a shitload of international music out there, coming from India, from Cuba, from the Dominican Republic, from South America. All kinds of creative shit going on. Cuba's been making hip-hop for, I don't know, 15, 20 years. You know, check that shit out. Juan de Marcos Gonzalez, my good buddy, 20 years ago, he got a bunch of old Cuban musicians together that were old enough to be my grandparents, and the Buena Vista Social Club album with Ry Cooder came out. And that's all really good stuff. And that's going to be remembered for a very long time. The other stuff that we get, though, and that we've gotten for the last 20 years or so, is generic, auto-tuned, dumbed-down, bullshit pop music sung by a bunch of hacks. And I'm talking about the Britneys, Christinas, the boy bands, and Justin Bieber. And I'll even put Beyonce in there because, you know, I know what she's trying to do, but I still don't think she's a very good singer. I think she's a diva. I think she's very overrated. And I thought Jennifer Hudson was much better in Dreamgirls. We've got bro country music now. We've got Kenny Chesney and Keith Urban and Brad Paisley. And if you don't know, everybody from comedians to sound engineers has had a lot of fun with this stuff because it's literally the same goddamn formula in every single song. That's bro country. We've got EDM music, which sounds more like robots jerking each other off than it does actual music. If you really want to hear some good electronic music, you know, listen to Frankie Knuckles, listen to Daft Punk, you know, listen to Spangle, Psytrance, Infected Mushroom, shit like that. Don't listen to that EDM shit. That is boring, and I don't see how the hell anyone can dance to it. We've got the Guitar Heroes, the Shredders. We have Yngwie Malmsteen, and Steve Vai, and John Petrucci, and Rusty Cooley, and Sinster Gates, blah, 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 blah. These guys have incredible technique, but there's nothing musical about what they do whatsoever. You know, nothing. And by the way, sweep picking is not a shredder technique. It is a jazz technique. It was invented by jazz players like Charlie Christian so that they could nail bebop horn lines. Okay? Or you can think of it with the Frank Gambale approach with economy picking, because he really does it cleanly and it sounds like John Coltrane. We also have these blues players, okay? Bonamassa, who actually can play. You know, he was mentored by Danny Gatton, and he actually knows how to do a few things. Why he chooses not to is anybody's guess. All he wants to do is play blues, like it's some sort of fucking gimmick. And then you get these guys like John Mayer. Now, John Mayer started out as a sad bastard singer-songwriter. And those guys are still out there, and some of them even have ukuleles now. Fuck that. Just straight up fuck that. I can't get anything out of that. But now John Mayer thinks he's a blues player. And he's really not. John Mayer is probably one of the worst blues players I've ever heard in my life, because all he does is run that fucking scale up and down the neck the whole time like it's an exercise. He has no feeling, he has no soul. Just like the fucking bro country players. There's no heart in those songs. None. You know, you want to listen to some songs with heart, listen to Merle Haggard, listen to Sturgill Simpson, listen to Hank Williams III, listen to George Jones, listen to Dale Watson, guys who are fucking doing it right. Okay? The next fucking page. So, what's the solution to all this shit? Well, I'll tell you what. The solution is there are tons and tons and tons of bands that are local to your area that are actually doing something interesting and honest and soulful and with conviction. Not just for a fucking gimmick, not just to sell records and please the corporate label masters. They're doing this to make music. Support them. Spend money on them. Go and see them. And recognize and appreciate their accomplishments. They're really not that hard to find, and they're just as good, if not better, as all those big shot, bullshit national bands that you like. So go and see them, and love and support and appreciate them. Tell the music industry people what you want to hear. And try and help these bands get to the next level. Because they're the ones that really deserve it. They're the ones that are putting in the hours. So let the industry know what you want to hear. And I guarantee you, somebody's going to break out. Alright, we're approaching the 15-minute mark, and I really don't want to fuck around too much more. But stay tuned. I'll make another one of these videos when I feel like it. Comments are always welcome. I just want to say in conclusion, if you really love and appreciate music, act like it. Don't just say it. Otherwise, you're a fucking phony. And some of you fuckers know who you are. Alright, see you next time.